Hey everyone, this is Alexander the Ritter. I'm a long time SEO marketer. Have a computer science background. Built some agencies that I successfully exited from. I'm also a SaaS founder with building products that have over 1 million users on their user history. So been there, done that. Today, I am excited to share with you guys a little bit about what to expect moving forward in the SEO space. Now, when ChatGPT came out a little over a year ago, I remember being in Dallas with Mike Sale, and this is at the time the head of innovation at Edgy Labs by Compass, and we were talking about the impact of that release and how it was going to change SEO. Now, for a moment there, we were really thinking this is it, like SEO is over. And here's why. Because the content supply is going to increase exponentially. And the demand is just like not exponential. We're not making an exponential amount of babies to consume more. And most countries now have internet, and most countries have cell phones. And so, the internet can keep growing, the demand can keep growing, but not to the extent that we can produce content exponentially fast with AI. So essentially what that means is that Google has to keep up with 1,000 times more content. And in the last year, in 2023, we started seeing the first big impacts of that. We saw that it became harder for Google to index new content and keep up with its indexers. So if you're struggling with that, I would consider using an indexing service to try to get Google's attention. Now, don't use this until you've optimized the basics, like your sitemap, your robust TXT. Make sure your site is well optimized from a technical SEO point of view. And of course, make sure your content has good content quality. But Google just can't keep up with the volumes of content that there's on the web right now compared to before. This because 1,000 times more content to index means 1,000 times more servers. And, Google's just not going to build out 1,000 times more data servers in 1 year time. It's not going to happen. So what's really going to happen is that Google is going to increasingly discriminate against thin content or low quality content. So what is that? Well, it actually does not mean AI generated content. You can have thin human written content and you can have thin AI written content. But I would present you with a very simple just way of thinking about it. If Google's Gemini, the BARD, the generative AI, can generate content that's just as good as what you wrote with AI, then why would Google send people to your website anymore? Why not just keep them on the Google page where they can click on ads, where Google can make ad revenue? See? So in other words, you need to make sure your content stands out. And so Google has put out guidelines. What that means, it means content that displays your personal expertise is a premium. Content that reflects and narrates your personal experience has a premium. That means user-generated content, sites with comment sections, commentary, forums, participation are all more valuable now for Google, but also content that you wrote from a first-person perspective, right? So things that reflect your expertise and experience. And beyond that, you can do that with both AI and with handwritten content. If you are going to use AI in your content story, then make sure you ground it. And so grounding is a term in AI, which means that it uses some kind of a database of facts or some sourcing of information where it learns from. Like one of the fun ways you can do that with AI is, let's say that you record yourself in meetings and your thoughts, or have like documents where you have written about your topic before. Let's say you put that in a vector database, right? And then you have AI write on a certain topic. Now, wouldn't it be neat if you could use a vector database and enrich whatever the AI writes, always grounded in stuff you said before, right? Not only can you do internal linking or linking to your previous content, but you can also enrich the AI to learn to write about the things that you already think and have said about the topic. So I do that by, for example, feeding my interviews, feeding my podcasts, feeding my meeting notes, feeding my documents into a vector database, and I enrich my AI writing with my personal expertise. So you can do that with AI. It just takes a few extra steps. And one way you can do that is with the Smith platform. For example, you could set up a vault over here. I'm going to go to the vault. I'm sorry, a data pool. You can set up a data pool like here, and I have dragged and dropped several files here about our product into this data pool. So if I'm going to go and make an agent now, I'm just going to call it test for a moment, and I wanted to write some content instead of just writing random stuff. I can do something like this. So let's make an API, and I'm going to call it article writer. Let's see here, article writer. I'm just going to call it writes articles, right? And I'm going to have an input call topic, and I'm going to access this here. All right. So if I wanted to write about that, I could obviously connect a language model and send this topic over here and say something like, write some paragraphs about this topic, and I can use my input variable here. And so I can use whatever AI model I want, but let's just stick with GPT 3.5 Turbo for now. Now, this here would be like your general GPT, right? It would just write about that topic. However, what if I want to ground it in things that I already know, what I've already said and spoken about? Well, what I can do now is I can do a data lookup. And so, for example, I would do a data lookup, and I would send my topic to my data lookup. I would choose my namespace, my vector database here. And what it's going to do is going to do a semantic search against the vector database and retrieve 3 snippets of text that is most relevant from my entire database to the thing that I'm writing about. And so as a result, it will return an array of 3 snippets of text. This is all pre-configured, drag and drop inside of Smith. So instead of just writing this directly, I'm going to add something like context here. And I'm going to send the results as context and my topic over here. So what I can now do is I can say in my prompt, I can say, using factual information about that topic from my database. And I can just give it for context. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm passing the context along with the topic, and it is able to write contextually. And that's it. Now I have an agent. I can talk to this agent right here, and I can just write about topics, and it's going to retrieve that. So if I were to debug this, I can just give it a topic and say agent AI agent benefits. So let's say I want to write about that. It's going to go to my data lookup. You see here, this query goes through. It's going to fetch some retrieval, and you can see here the results. These are the snippets. It's in 3 segments. Like you can see, this is an array, section, comma, section, comma, section. So 2 commas, 3 elements. This is now sent over here and here. And now I can run the next step, and it's going to, my prompt says, write some write some paragraphs about it. And so here I have my paragraphs. So all of this now is what is called grounded. So I just realized that I didn't have my camera on this whole time, and that's my screen share on. It's a bummer because I wanted to show it to you guys. So I'm sorry about that, and I'm just going to show it this way. All right. So I built this agent live. I was dragging and dropping. I have an API endpoint where I added a topic. My topic is sent to my data lookup. My data lookup returned data from my data lake. And so my LLM prompt here, which is ChatGPT 3.5, GPT 3.5 Turbo, will have some paragraphs about this topic using the context. It takes input and context, and out comes my result, which is grounded, right? Grounded in facts. So what you can do is you can easily use AI to write with experience and expertise. Now, you also need to make sure your content content that was a reading grade level of 8, but you see in the trend like TikTok content and YouTube Shorts has a reading difficulty of 5th grade. So you see with 2024, expect content to get easier and easier to understand, and you need to keep up with that. All right. So next up, the next mega trend will be around consumer patience. And so this ties into that trend of easier and easier. So for this one, people basically don't have the time or the patience to navigate your website and find what they're looking for. It really is that simple. If they don't find on an article or a piece of content what they're looking for in the first few seconds, either because your content doesn't make its point until 5 pages down, or it takes too long to load, they're gone. If your site's navigation makes it hard to find information, they're gone. So what you have to do for that? Well, you have to start thinking about how to optimize. And in 2021, 2022, Google made a very big deal about page speed and page loading time. All right. The reason for it is that they noticed that if people did not get the answer within a second or 2 seconds, that they already were gone. In 2024, you need to do 2 extra things. You need to make sure that your crawl depth is also optimizing for search engines, because remember, they have 1,000 times more content to index. They don't have the time to go and crawl your entire site with 6 links deep. All right. So your silos need to be a lot more flattened, and you need to make sure that you get to the point much earlier in your articles, because the attention span is reduced not just for humans, but for search engines as well. One of the ways that you will do that is optimizing your link structure and making navigational elements much easier. For example, having a table of content in your next to your article, so people can click straight to the part of the article where they're going to find the part of information they're looking for. Right. This is one of the ways you can make it more user friendly, more time respecting, so to speak. All right, on to the third mega trend. And this one's a big one. The third mega trend is conversational search. So query-based search is the thing in 2004 and 2000 and 2002 and 3 and 4. That was the thing that the internet people knew how to do, but your family members did not know how to do. Okay? It is learning how to type in keywords and phrases so that you know you're going to find the right thing you're looking for. And I don't know about you, but my own story, at some point I got really, really good at it. All right. But then Google and search engines started changing to make everybody else good at it too. And this is when they started mapping the thing you're probably asking for, not what you're actually searching for. Okay, so we went from query-based search to query inference-based search to query intent-based search to match the intent of the user behind the question. So, for example, if I ask for the Tower of Pizza, it's misspelled. Nobody wants to eat a tower of pizza, right? If they type Tower of Pizza, they're looking for Tower of Pizza. And so it's misspelled. So Google will take the query and will find out what the intent behind the query is. And so we call that intent mapping. All right. So Google went from query-based search, which was really hard for like my dad in 2004, to query intent-based search, which makes it easier for people to find what they're looking for, even if they don't know how to guess the right query. Okay, so now in 2024, we're moving to the next stage, which is conversational search. So conversational search is spelling the end of the traditional query-based search. And what that means is not that query-based search is gone forever. It does not mean that intent optimization is gone as a principle. Those things remain very important. But what we mean by it is that the consumer's patience for guessing the right query to type and getting to the right answer is severely diminished. What they want to say is having a conversation like you and I could be having, and just say what they're looking for in their own natural language without having to think in their brain about how do I search for this. And if the results are not perfect, they need to be able to clarify it with a follow-up question. Okay, so this is because people don't like to go to a website, browse multiple pages to find what they're looking for. They do not like a search experience where they have to go click on several links to try and find the one site that answers their question. They want the answer right away. Okay, this trend comes from consumer expectations and is possible with conversational AI. So 2024 is going to be a big year for that. And so the main thing that's going to happen to SEO with that trend is that Google will change. And not just Google, conversational assistants will be everywhere. Think of the browser wars we had before. Before there was Google Chrome with a super high market share, there were a ton of browsers. We had the antitrust cases where Microsoft was bundling Internet Explorer. Well, right now, Microsoft is bundling their conversational AI, the next generation of browser, so to speak, next generation interface for consumer conversational search is bundling it with Windows. But Google is doing the same thing with Android. Apple is doing the same thing with iOS. Amazon is doing the same thing with Alexa. Meta is doing the same thing with all of their products. TikTok is doing the same thing. ByteDance's AI, and so forth and so on. This is even coming to the workspace. So when you have an intelligent AI assistant that can perform conversational search, wherever it is that you work, whatever operating system you use, what do you get? You get a fragmentation of the search landscape. And so this is the biggest trend that is going to start happening in 2024. It means your customers are going to find you not just on Google, but in all of these conversational search assistants as well. And what's very important about the nature of these conversational search assistants is that their interaction is vastly different from a 10-pack search result. The former purpose of search engines were to identify the best website that could answer your question. The purpose of conversational search is instead to give you the answer without needing to click in the lowest amount of time with the lowest amount of customer frustration. So what does that mean? That means that, oh, and I see I have a viewer. Hi. This is cool. This is actually my first time using StreamYard. So it's cool to see that the comments are coming in. So what does that mean? It means that your current reliance as clicks, as measurement of success of your SEO is going to look very different. And that's going to have major impacts for the tools you're using and as an SEO professional like Ahrefs, SEMrush, and so forth, right? Because the way we measure success changes. And so what is going to start happening in 2024 is we're going to start seeing going from clicks, we're going to go to brand interactions. And you're going to have to learn as a brand how to have conversational interactions, mentions, citations, and optimize for those. You will still get some web traffic and clicks from conversational search, but it is not the same value proposition as it used to be. You need to expand your horizon, and how you think about the impact that SEO has will vastly change. In other words, let me just paint a picture this way. If you're an SEO agency today and 50% of the clicks went away for your customers, and they went to conversational interactions instead, and you were not able to measure where that traffic went, where those interactions went, then a customer would come to you and say, why do I still have to pay you 100% if you're only bringing half of the traffic? Let me find another agency, or let me pay you half. So it's going to be up to you to show that you're still providing that same value as before. And actually your work becomes larger and more complicated than before, because now you have to optimize for many more channels, right? And so this is a very important trend. And so there is a silver lining here. And this is a really important and amazing one, because in conversational interactions, if you can make the AI, conversational AI, talk to your brand via a plugin, extension, Copilot, GPT, whatever you call it, all right? Then you are able to collect the conversational history with your customer. And that is vastly more rich than what you have from website visits. When they visit your website, they come, they go, they're gone, right? So if they're gone, why did they leave? Well, I have a heat map. Okay, great. What does that tell you about this particular customer? Did I answer their question? Yes or no? You may not know it, right? So what do you do about it? Well, if you had a brand agent that these AI assistants could talk to for information, then you can log the conversation and know exactly what customers were asking for, and then see what they did. Did they leave? Did they buy? Did they keep asking for more information? Did they go visit your website for more information? That right there, that analytics, those logs, that is the new frontier for SEOs for optimizing. And so to do that, you will need to make a brand agent. And a brand agent is a way to think about making your website or your brand conversational. Think about having your best salesperson or support person in an AI agent that knows everything that's on your website and can just give people what they're looking for. Now, you may be aware of like chat programs or whatnot that you put on your site, and that's great and all, but unless those can also talk to the search engines and be deployed in the GPT store and be in Windows Copilot so that Windows users can find you there, and unless those also are in Meta AI Studio so that any Meta user can talk to your brand over there, and unless you then gather all that analytics in one place so you can understand exactly, remember intent matching, you can do a content gap analysis, and you can actually measure, did we have the answer for this customer question? And was our answer good enough so that it led to a conversion action or some kind of an influence moment? Okay, that's right there, the future of SEO. This is how everything is moving. In other words, in the future, if I want to buy a car, I'm not going to go google.com, best car 2014, click, search what website I want to go to, click on that website, do a few more clicks, read a bunch of articles, then maybe go to a car manufacturer's site, then go into a builder. No. People are tired. We don't have time for that. In the future, we're just going to have a conversation with whatever AI assistant that we personally trust with our information, whether that's our local open source model, search engine type of assistant, or it is Google's or Apple's, whatever it is. We're just going to say, I need a new car. That assistant already knows a bunch of things about you, gives you some relevant suggestions. You need to make sure that your brand is showing up there. Okay, and when it shows up, you need to make sure that the experience is excellent. And so you need to feed, you need to interact with these AI assistants. So the way you do that today, and the first versions of these app stores are launching. Microsoft launched their copilots. GPT launched their GPT store. They're cute and everything, but the real innovation is when you make your brand conversational and capture these logs. That is the trend of 2024. And so the way you're going to do that is by going to, for example, again, this here is an agent. You connect it to your website. You answer questions. Maybe you need to do some thinking about it before. Maybe you need to add a classifier. And before you answer the topic, maybe you send it to a classifier first. So I'm going to remove this here. Maybe you send it to a classifier, and I'm going to get out of debug. And maybe the classifier needs to first see something like, are they wants to talk to human, right? Maybe it wants to talk to a human. Maybe wants to answer a question, or like wants question answered. Question answered, right? Or whatever it is. So if it wants to answer a question, okay, well, let's go here now, right? I'm gonna do a trigger here to activate this, because this is just a yes state. I'm gonna send this to this, so this starts. I'm gonna send my topic over here. So this only happens if people actually want a question answered. And if I want to talk to a human, well, you know, maybe I will just say something like, let me just say something like an echo. I'm gonna say something like, I'm gonna make the simplest example, but you can send emails, you can make appointments, you can make text messages, but right? Please contact support@example.com to talk to our support team. And that's it. So you can handle these interactions and you can build this out. So building this agent one time is cool, but then deploying it everywhere to all of the stores is important as well. And this is what you can do with this platform, smithos.com. Anyways, to recap the big mega trends for 2024. Okay, the first one is content supply is really exploding. It's a fact. You have to deal with it. You have to make sure content is better than ever. Number two is customer patience is reduced dramatically, which means you need to make sure your sites are loading very fast, and you need to reduce your crawl depth so that your sites are more flat and easier to find information. Add shortcuts to your content, like finding the right section with a content navigation element on your page. Make sure you get to the point quicker. Don't waste people's time. It comes at a premium for people. You're going to be rewarded by the search engines. And then the final thing is conversational search is here. It is 2024. Welcome to the future of search. It is beginning. The future of search is conversational. and you need to make sure that you are going to be capturing that analytics, those logs, understand what customers are asking for, because the content gap analysis around how well you're answering questions, that's the new signal for search engines to know that you're the website, you're the brand agent they want to talk to for answers. The more satisfied their users are, the more satisfied um, they will be, and will be sending more traffic or interactions your way. And just get ready to rethink analytics and measurements and attribution of your work so that you can continue to get paid for your work, which is very important as SEO agencies. All right, well, that's all I wanted to share real quick, because some people asked me for this. I put some slides together and I thought, hey, it would be nice to share this as well. Let me try out StreamYard. If you want to know more about smithos.com, just check my profile. If you want to know more about my background or just talk to me, send me a message. I'd love to answer your questions. And I wish you a great 2024 with fantastic results for your agency, your clients, and your health and family. And I hope to see you soon. I hope this was a successful first live stream. Bye, everyone.